We are live, says the thing. I'm already slumped down in my chair. It's been a long day.
Come on.
Yeah, you didn't even know what day it was.
No, you asked me, are we podcasting tonight? And I said, it's Tuesday.
Exactly. Which is the day we podcast.
We
Yeah, I know.
podcast every Tuesday.
I meant it as a declaration.
Hello there.
It's
That's not how I came across. That's not how I came across.
So, I realized that you read it that way after I sent it, and I was like, wait a minute. I knew what day it was because I was up at 7:00 this morning getting ready to press refresh on the Best Buy website over.
All right, I gotta. Won't forget to the intro. I have a very important question to ask Jason right after the intro. So let's get into the intros and let's go to work here.
Am I still doing the intro?
Yeah, I don't have my files.
All right.
All right. Hello there.
Good evening,
Hello.
ladies and gentlemen, people of the internet. Welcome once again to the Painfully Honest Tech podcast.
Are those AirPods on your head?
So, yes, they are. Podcast so honest it hurts. We are here tonight to talk about many things.
Wow.
Many things, but among them are interesting little tidbits. It's been a crazy day. I was on Best Buy's website and then Walmart's website like all day, literally from 8 a.m. until like 3 p.m.
So,
And it made me tired.
So, which brings me to my first question that I need to ask before you even go anywhere in the podcast.
Okay.
Jason, you told me that there's a possibility that you secured the bag. So the people want to know, Jason, did you secure the Xbox bag?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I mean,
Well, you either got a confirmation or you didn't.
well, I haven't yet.
Yeah.
But
oh.
so I hit order and they said, oh, we got to do something different. Something has to happen with your credit card. My wife got a notification saying, hey, are you trying to buy something at Walmart? And she said, yes.
The gatekeeper.
Yeah. Very necessary. And so then she said yes. And it's not it's not there. It's not. Walmart stinks. Walmart just sucks. Because I thought I had a PS4 locked in last time Walmart had a drop. And I got it in my cart. I went to check out. Spinny. And then they didn't have it.
Nothing.
I thought we were done.
I still got a PS5 sitting in my Best Buy cart. And I can't. Every time I try and check out, it says there are no stores that have it available. First, it was like my local store had it, and then it was like the store an hour away had it. Then it was like a store 150 miles away had it, and then nobody had it. Nobody had it. So I even checked Chicago, thinking oh, there's several Best Buys there, and they probably had nothing within 250 miles of Chicago. And I kept pressing on the ones that were saying they had it available for pickup. And by the time it went back to the site to finish checking out, it said they didn't have any there.
Man.
I think this is designed to make us crazy. COVID has put us on the brink. And now pre-ordering one of these things or just ordering one of these things is going to throw us all over the edge. That's what I think. So but the thing about the Walmart one, and I was talking to Tech Odyssey about this because he got an Xbox One S. He ordered it, and they aren't coming until January 8th.
Yep.
I'm like,
the Xbox?
The Best Buy ones, the Best Buy was getting them Saturday or Sunday of this week. So
Yeah, the Walmart orders are not coming until after Christmas. And like Jason said, if you got lucky and got a Best Buy order today, you can get it this weekend. So
yeah. So it's one of those things. Like I wish I still drank.
no,
Don't say that, man.
It's like,
not
oh
going
man,
no.
I could use about 10 beers right now. That was really frustrating. And then my AirPods Pro Max came, whatever they're called.
You have the silver one. Those are the ones I ordered.
I've got the silver one. I like them.
Okay, sure. Okay, so for those of you who are listening, you can join us live for the visual show every Tuesday, 8:00 Eastern on the Painfully Honest Tech channel on YouTube, and you can participate in the chat. We always take questions and whatnot from people and super chats, all that kind of good stuff. So before we go any further, Jason, do we have a sponsor for today's show? Did you get that thing organized with that?
I have a discussion happening later this week.
A discussion, okay.
Yeah. So,
Cool.
so I don't really have that sponsor. But as always, we have our sponsor, TubeBuddy.
TubeBuddy.
Yeah, TubeBuddy.
Okay.
The best tool for any person who does anything on YouTube. And I think I might have a banner with their address in there.
They're stand-up people. I always talk good about them, and they randomly gifted me a lifetime Legend membership.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, so
very nice. Yeah.
TubeBuddy is legit. Definitely.
Yes.
I can co-sign that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I even get vidIQ through my MCN.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the highest level vidIQ, which vidIQ splits their things in a way that like there are things that you would want that you do get similar things in TubeBuddy at like the middle level.
Yeah.
But vidIQ, I think their monthly like highest level is like $80 or something.
Well, I've used both. I prefer TubeBuddy for obvious reasons, but I also like because TubeBuddy is built directly into YouTube. So it's not like adding on a plugin or an extension with your Chrome browser that could potentially slow down your computer and everything. That being said, they're both fantastic, but I would definitely side with TubeBuddy just because of my past experiences.
Actually, let's be clear. TubeBuddy is an extension as well. It's a Chrome extension.
Yeah.
Well, it can be, yeah, but it's also directly. How do I explain it? It's not as memory intensive as vidIQ, which is
but they're both extensions, though, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. So before Jason tells us or regales us with AirPod Max stories, let me tell my story real quick.
Okay.
So I made a whole video last week talking about how I would not buy the AirPod Max because they were overpriced. They look antique. Blah 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 blah.
The FOMO.
So it wasn't even FOMO. I blame Verizon. I blame Verizon Wireless. I blame Verizon because I obviously I didn't place the order when Apple put up the initial shipment. So by the time I even thought about changing my mind, they were back ordered until March. So I'm like, all right, we're good. Then this punk George from Verizon put out the Verizon link saying AirPods are they're available to order from Verizon. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I can order these and I don't have to worry about paying for them until next year. So I said, the hell with it. So I ended up ordering a pair from Verizon. I ordered these silver ones that Jason has in his hand right now. I ordered those, but the more I look at the videos on YouTube, I really wish I would have ordered the fake grade, but I do have a silver pair of AirPods Max coming at some point this week.
I'm going to co-sign with Renee, not only because he's a smart man and because he's a fellow Canadian, but yeah, nobody believes you, Viper. Nobody believes you. Nobody believes you, man.
After that, you shouldn't believe me. Don't believe Viper.
Well, no, I mean,
I thought for sure after last Tuesday, I'm like, he's going to come up. He's going to find a reason to get these. These are too hot of an item for Viper to pass on. They really are.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you hadn't have ordered them, you would have had to have given up your captain of Team Apple
for $600, man. No, it's craziness. But we'll find out.
If you're going to be the captain, then you got to lead
the man. I'm the captain of Team Apple, but you don't see me rushing out to order like a $50,000 Mac Pro. Actually, we can talk about later. We can talk about that CNN article later on too. That's
if you got $50,000 for a Mac Pro, you should buy yourself a house first. You know,
there you go.
I think Viper's got the house.
I don't know if you rent or not. I'm just saying, like, with that kind of money, like, if you've got that kind of money to spend on a computer, you should spend it on something that, you know, is not a fungible good.
Okay.
Yeah.
AirPods Pro Max What are they
Jason,
called? No.
have you
AirPod.
had a chance to listen to them at all, Jason?
Yes,
Okay,
I have.
you're up.
I had them on my head from like 3 o'clock until 6 o'clock.
And
I haven't done any tests against other stuff yet, but they do sound really good.
what were you streaming and from what apps?
I was streaming just different things on Spotify, which is
Can you use Spotify?
my weapon of choice at this time.
Do you have Tidal? Do you have access to Tidal?
No, but I mean
No.
the thing is like, I know this might trigger some people, but Tidal is a placebo 90% of the time.
The what?
Because
Say it again. The what?
Shot fired.
yeah, Tidal is a placebo 90% of the time because
They
you
sent me a
can't-
nice promo,
Okay,
$4 for.
polish a
Before you
turd.
go, Jason, you have to explain what placebo is for the people that don't know.
It's a like a sugar pill, something that makes you think something good is happening, but it's just really not doing anything. So here's the thing: you can't polish a turd, right? So
Brilliant.
if you have really pristine audio that is mastered very well, mixed very well, and comes out on the other end with the ability to really give you something different when you go to the higher bit rates or the lossless files, then you're good. But 90% of everything that's released today, the bar, like the waveform looks like this. It's just one straight line. Everything's been totally maxed out and limited and just over compressed. So they
Franklin Goodwin has a good point here.
well, the thing is, like, so anything new that has been sort of mastered to the max level where there's no dynamics left, you can't. There's no reason to have a lossless file of that. It's just there's no dynamics. It's just electronic noise coming out for 3 minutes. So Franklin has a question. How can you call yourself an audiophile listening to Spotify on $550 headphones? Well, here's the thing. Spotify has improved some of their stuff. Let me see what bit rate I am able to listen to stuff on Spotify right now.
Tidal recently sent me a promo. It was one of these things that kind of popped up on my Instagram, and I clicked on it. I didn't think it was for Canada, but 4 months of music for only $4 Canadian, and I can pick between the premium or the hi-fi plan.
Right.
And it seems like you want to go for the hi-fi. Apparently, if you want the highest quality, does that make sense?
Yeah.
They're both $4. Like, why would you would assume they would just give you the highest? But
well, premium is usually the cheaper one, and hi-fi is like $5 or $10 more a month. I think it's usually like $20 a month.
This is 4 months of music for only $4. Any plan, unlimited time, rediscover, Get 4 months of Tidal Premium or Hi-Fi for $4. So that's like $1 a month for 4 months.
Yeah,
That's pretty good. It seems like a good deal to try out, even if I don't have even if I only don't have the greatest headphones.
Here's the problem with Tidal in terms of like a user experience.
Okay.
Tidal has one of the worst like suggestion algorithms I have ever seen.
Tidal's suggestion is good is bad?
Yeah, it's terrible. Like, you got to know what you want to listen to if you don't want to listen to the latest rap music. You've got to know exactly what you want to listen to, because they will keep feeding like the top 10 pop hits of whatever. And I'm sorry, I might make me an old man, but I haven't been interested in popular music in any significant way since
I've just
1995.
like I have YouTube music obviously through YouTube with premium because of no commercials, right?
Yeah.
And the discoverability on there is okay, Spotify's discoverability, that alone right there makes it worth, in my opinion, paying the $9.99 a month or whatever I'm paying for Spotify.
Right. Yeah, it used to be my problem when my problem was it still wasn't that great. Spotify was always has always been geared toward playlists and individual songs as opposed to records.
Mm-hmm.
But they've gotten better at like making playlists a little bit more, sort of interesting. So I've been enjoying it. Let's see. Okay, here we go.
Have you had a chance to try out like the spatial audio or anything like that on the AirPods Max?
There's a way to test it when you first set up the AirPods.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that wasn't a good way to showcase the potential of spatial audio. Because it wasn't.
Oh no! That's bollock. What you need to do, fire up the good old iPad or whatever you use, and I think it only works in like the Apple TV app or Disney Plus. But fire up something in one of those and prepare to be amazed.
Right. Okay, so I found what I'm looking for here. Subscribing to Spotify Premium gives you access to 320 kilobits per second audio streaming. I will say this. Anybody who listens to if I put 5 songs that were 320 kilobits and 5 songs that were lossless WAV files or whatever, and I jumbled them up and I asked people to pick which ones were the lossless, almost everybody would be wrong. You can't tell the difference. I mean, it's one of those things where the headphones that you're listening to impact that, the source that you're listening from impacts that. Like there's so much in between, and 320 kilobits is good enough. It used to be the big problem with MP3s back in the day was like your highest format was like 128 kilobits per second.
That was the comment. It was always like a little bit of gold if you got the 192, and then like the peak, the best was the 320s.
Yeah.
When I found the 320s when I was downloading music from another place,
you know what you want to say.
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna say what my entire DJ collection is made of, but anyway, I'm just saying. I would always look for those 320s. Yeah. Master.
I always look for the 420s.
I see what he did there.
He's doing it, Jason.
It's usually reggae
or the family show. Come on,
okay. So going back to your initial experience with the AirPods Max, so you're saying that from what you've listened to so far, that you think the audio quality is up there, huh?
It sounds initially very good. It's pretty flat, and that's what I want. So yeah, it's pretty good. I have to listen to it like against other headphones. So I'm releasing my unboxing first impressions setup video tomorrow.
Okay.
I was going to release it today, but it was, if I release it after the podcast, it's like 10 o'clock at night. And
no, your videos always do well when you release them in the afternoons.
Yeah. So I'll put it up like tomorrow mid-morning or something like that.
People want to hear that painfully honest opinion.
Yeah,
right? That's your thing, man.
I release videos right around the time that people have to go to the toilet mid-afternoon.
What are you forming your own toilet squad?
Well, I mean,
if
people hold it and wait for my videos, then I appreciate the sacrifice.
It's funny I wonder if John will show up now that you've summoned. Him.
I was mentioned in the front page tech video a couple of days ago.
I thought that he was. Okay, so let's talk about something else about the AirPods Max. A lot of people from all the videos I've watched so far, Jason, they are saying that the weight can be kind of weighty on your head. What are your initial thoughts about that? He's thinking about everything.
Wow.
That's bullshit. And here's the reason why. Okay, so it's a stainless steel frame. I mean, this is slick, man. It's a stainless steel frame, not gonna break. It's got like little ball joint hinges here. It's solid as, I don't know, an impacted colon. It's just really, really hefty. And the thing is, like, I wore them for 3 hours straight and forgot that they were on my head. You know,
Really?
I turned on transparency mode when my wife and daughter got home, and was walking around the house, and then I was like, "Oh wait, I'm still wearing the headphones." Like, transparency mode is that good. Seriously,
Man,
Like,
we didn't even say his name, and he showed up in the chat.
Andrew.
Normally, you have to say Andrew Edwards, and he shows up like a genie. But
Yeah.
here he is.
yeah, I know. Well, I saw that Andrew had a video out. I haven't had a chance to watch it because I was trying to get a PlayStation.
Oh, I did. He's out there making bold claims. He's making bold claims out there.
So
Uh-oh.
here's the thing about people complaining about the weight.
Mhm.
Now, if Apple had done what Sony did and used aluminum framing and plastic all around, then everybody would be bitching about that. Right? Everybody would be like, "Oh, this is so cheap, man. It's just made of plastic." They give you stainless steel and high quality aluminum, and you're like, "Oh, it's too heavy." Jesus,
I think it would. I would think it would depend more on the price. I think if they would release aluminum and plastic at $549, oh hell yeah, people would have been complaining. But had they priced maybe like $200 less and release aluminum and plastic, people might have been more forgiving about that.
Well,
Nah,
I think
that's not how Apple rolls, though.
I think
Apple-
starting at this higher price point, this $549, and have the best premium materials and whatnot, then you can go down. You can't start here and go up. Do you know what I mean? So if they started here with like a plastic and this and that and gone up, people have been like, what the heck? If you start up here with your AirPods Max and then you offer like a sport and you go down, then you
Yeah.
start to generate like a whole series in a whole additional ecosystem to your sound stuff.
Yeah, these things are like, if there's going to be another level above these, I don't know what they're going to do.
I mean, what do you call them? Max Plus? I mean,
Pro Max.
well, I mean, but think about it. Think about it, right? So, I don't know how Beats did their thing, but for example, what are the Sony ones called? The Sony XM1000.
WH-1000 XM4.
I just
Okay.
decided to call them XM4s.
But does, for example, Viper? I mean, Viper, you can answer this because I don't know. Does Sony make a model like that with more premium materials above?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
So
Not that
everything else they do for headphones and in ear is below in price point, correct?
As far as I know, yeah.
Wireless.
Exactly. So that's what Apple does with these AirPods Max is they start up here, and then they offer lower and lower tiers, different types of materials, lower price points, sport, whatever, right?
Right. I think it's a question, like Andrew has this in the chat here. You know, if they go down, then they get to Studio 3s. The Studio 3s are pretty long in the tooth. They haven't been updated for 4 or maybe even more years, and they need to be updated because 4 years ago they might have been passable, but now they're just embarrassing.
All right.
You know,
And while we talk about that, one thing I think we need to differentiate, and I don't know who said it, maybe Andrew or maybe you, Jason, but the Beats brand operates as an independent entity under the Apple umbrella. So the people who made AirPods Max are not the same people who made Beats. So let's get that clear.
I think Andrew mentioned that on Friday Night Viper on Friday.
Okay.
Is not
And,
some of the technology from Beats though in the
Yeah.
AirPods Max?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
But they're still made by two different like teams and things.
Separate teams, yeah, separate companies.
Yeah. I think that Apple, you know, basically used Beats as a step stool to get closer to where they wanted to go with audio and in the headphone department, at least. So they, you know, Beats had the infrastructure, Beats had the, you know, everything that they could use to build off of.
Did you buy the cord? Or did you just listen all wirelessly today?
Oh, he didn't buy the cord.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about the cord.
Oh yeah, the headphone jack. That's right. Yeah, you're on board with this whole thing now. I forgot you completely flipped last week. Go on.
These are $550 wireless noise canceling headphones,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Why in the hell would I want to stick a plug in them?
Well,
I was
we're
just
doing right
wondering
now.
I was wondering for your testing all that kind of
What
stuff. like you
we're
said.
doing right now, Jason.
No, I would. Look, if I wanted a wired set of headphones for $550, there's a lot of stuff I'd buy before I'd buy these. These are meant for the overall quality of the headphones themselves, the value adds in terms of Apple ecosystem stuff, and generally good sound signature without wires. So there's no reason like I've got 25 sets of headphones over here, most of them wired, right? If I want to plug I'm wearing wired headphones right now. If I wanted to plug a set of headphones in, I would not be these, because then I'm out like all the cool things about it that I spent the money on. So I think anybody who decides that they also want to be able to like plug these into their hi-fi system or something, they're just throwing good money after bad, or bad money after good, or whatever, because that's not the point of these.
The point is to go wireless. Yeah.
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 I mean, what I've been waiting for all this time is for wireless headphones to rise to a place where they might not be the same, they might not be as like sonically as good a quality as wired headphones, but the whole package brings you something similar to what a set of wired headphones for, $300, $400, $500 gives you. And so wireless headphones, I don't know if you guys remember, wireless headphones as far back as like 2016 were garbage all the way around. I remember getting the first set of Samsung Icon X headphones, and they were like $200 and something, I think, and they wouldn't stay connected to each other. So it'd be like, the one that was paired to the phone would keep going, and the other one would drop out, or vice versa. So wireless headphones have come a long way in the last 4 or 5 years. However, that just means that I have, people who appreciate high quality cans now have an option in the wireless game, at least in the mainstream. Okay, there have been things like the Momentum 3s from Sennheiser, and there are AKG headphones that are wireless that cost like $700-800. Those are Bluetooth. My problem is that I wouldn't want to buy a set of AKG wireless headphones at $800, because they've got really fantastic headphones for, somewhere in that price range that are wired. And AKG is a studio monitor brand, headphone monitor brand. That's where they made their living. They, of course, they've branched out over the years, and now they're owned by Samsung, and Samsung can slap AKG on any piece of crap headphone they put in the box, or they sell for an extra $100. I was glad they didn't put AKG on the Beats or on the Buds Live.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised about that. But the ones that come in the box are quote unquote tuned by AKG.
Yeah, tuned by AKG. More like AKG sent us over their logo in an email so we could put it on here.
I mean, I used the wired ones all the time with my Note 9, my Note 10 Plus here when I was on the airplanes, and I never had any complaints.
I'll tell you what. All that being said, the in the box earbuds that Samsung had, first the 3.5 millimeter and then the USB-C, those were probably the best sounding earbuds that came out of a phone box that I have ever used. They weren't an afterthought. They weren't crappy. They were enjoyable to listen to. So, the Buds Live case says sound by AKG. Man, that's got to, like, whoever founded AKG has got to be like, if they're not with us anymore, they're turning over in their grave. And if they are, then they probably feel like, someone's talking bad about them, and getting that weird, like, tingly feeling.
So Andrew Edwards says that all of the computational audio features of the AirPod Max work when they're wired up. Cool.
Well, that's cool. I mean, most of the time people use a cable like when they run out of battery or something like that. But it's cool that all that stuff works with the cable. My point is like I don't feel the need to pay 40 extra dollars for a cable so that it's like a $600 set of headphones when I could get $600 wired headphones that stomp these things to death. So
Yeah, Jason, but what if you want to be on a podcast and flex on people? I got that, because the AirPod Max got that flex factor, Jason. When you want to flex on somebody?
I think that Shure SM7B Bear Dynamic DT770s in the blackout edition, nice little mixing desk over here. I think this is a flex.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, but getting rid of the Roadcaster is not a flex. That's a deflex.
Well, this mixer does everything
after
that the
they sent it to you.
Rodecaster did, except for have the little, like audio triggers. It does everything that does, but it's also useful to me as something to record music with. You
Yeah.
couldn't really record music with the Rodecaster.
I'd like to see Rode come out with like a, I don't want to say mini, but something like, we've talked about this before, like half the size.
Yeah.
Because like if you're like
Like
a
a single
one person, yeah, if you're like a one person thing like myself, you, Viper, whatever, you don't necessarily need those two extra inputs, whatever. Maybe you do, depending like if you're plugging in other things. But I mean
The
Viper,
thing
you
is-
can't pick it up right now, can you? It's huge, right?
The thing is,
Oh, I
With-
can. It's just no point.
with the Rodecaster, the problem is that you've got 4 XLR mic inputs.
Yep.
And unless you've got 4 microphones,
Yeah.
then those other inputs are dead to you. You
Yeah.
can't plug in, they do give you like a 3.5 millimeter. They do give you Bluetooth, which sounds like ass, but but you can't use those other 4 inputs. Whereas most other studio level gear will give you like a combination jack where you can stick a 1/4-inch jack
Yeah.
in there.
And you
You
can
use it for something else, like you could use it for line level, you could use
Yeah.
it for whatever, and stick a CD player or whatever onto it, record player if you wanted to DJ some, but they don't let you do that. I think that when the Rodecaster 2 comes out, they will definitely be combination jacks.
it's interesting because everything that you can do with the Rodecaster, we're going to transition to the next topic here, but everything that you can do with the Rodecaster, I can do with a combination of software and the Stream Deck here. And even if I wanted to, which is how you record, Jason, use OBS Virtual Cam, right?
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to buy a big. Anyway, I've managed to do everything that you were talking about there. You integrate, this and that, and
Hello there.
things like that. So
Yeah.
It's interesting that it's pretty cool that there's a lot of options out there. I mean, that thing is that thing's a big boy.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right,
Yeah.
let's.
Well, let's get to the verdict time,
Hmm.
because I've given some info about what I think about these, and Pablo here says that he has the Max, and they do not sound better than the Fostex THX 100s or the Sennheiser HD 660s or Hi-Fi Man 400S. Yeah, but those are wired headphones. I'm not familiar with the Fostex, but I know the 660s and the 400S are wired headphones, which once you start talking about a wired headphone compared to a Bluetooth headphone, you might as well stop talking, because it's not comparable. It just, the purpose of the wired headphone is not the same as the wireless headphone. And so you have to judge wireless headphones at least against other wireless headphones. That's why, I mean, there are wireless headphones that compete directly with this price range, but they are niche market headphones. The mainstream brands are okay, like the WXM4s, right? And the Bose, and Skull Candy, I think, has probably a pair that's not as expensive, but plays in that same range. Even the Beats Studio Wireless 3s, the Beats Studio Wireless 3s, of the 3 other headphones that I'm mentioning here, I mean, the AirPods build quality is next level, 100% next level. Like nobody is making a headphone. Like you could beat somebody down with this. You know, stainless steel and high quality aluminum. You just, man, you know, just murder somebody. But
And the other thing that we have to remember, besides the fact that you really can't compare wired and wireless headphones, is that sound is subjective, as everybody in audio would tell you. So
This
what
would be my
sounds
next
good to me is not going to sound good to you. What sounds good to Jason might not sound good to me. What sounds good to me might not sound good to Zach. So you got to remember that.
that's subjective in its purest sense. Like you know what you like, and I know what I like. However,
It's like
for
saying
somebody-
like everything Pearl Jam sounds great. Jason disagrees.
Yeah. So when you're talking about looking at a pair of headphones objectively, comparatively against other things, other headphones out there, you can be totally objective about it.
Mhm.
You can say, okay, here are a list of qualities and features that are universally accepted as high quality features. And then you can go down that list and give what is likely your opinion, but still it's based on a rubric of, you know, here are the things that most people agree are the points that we test our headphones against.
Mhm.
That's what I try and do when I review headphones is I'll talk about my subjective opinion of the headphones, but I also talk about like the nuts and bolts of things like, you know, frequency response and, you know, how it's tuned, et cetera, et cetera. And so I think you can judge things objectively in that way, but at the end of the day, like your personal preference is what really matters with a set of headphones, because I mean you're not you're not like nobody else is hearing it, right? So whatever.
And the other thing is, these AirPod Max go slightly deeper than audio because they have special features that you won't find on any other headphones. I mean,
Yeah.
if you are in the Apple ecosystem, you get automatic device switching between all your Apple devices, provided you're signed into the same iCloud account.
Yeah.
You also get spatial audio. You get Siri. I mean, if that's a thing, I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing these days, but you get Siri.
Well,
So there are
Siri, like the Hey Siri works with this.
Mhm.
Don't wake up, phone.
you did
Way to
it.
go.
You
Way
did
to
it.
go.
And that's a good thing because it's kind of like CarPlay. You know, if you've ever used CarPlay, it takes over a lot of the functions that you would need to be looking at your phone to get into, and then gives it to you in an easier way to digest. And so something like blank Siri on a set of headphones that really works, you know, like, hey, what was that message? You know, and it'll read out your messages out loud and give you the opportunity to respond by voice and stuff like that. So there's a lot of AirPod specific good features that I think make this a good option for the Apple customer. I say to anybody who has an Android phone or a PC or, you know, or doesn't own at least 3 Apple products,
Don't do it.
don't buy these.
Don't do it.
You know, because you're setting yourself up for disappointment because you won't be able to use half of what's cool about it.
Yep.
So if you don't have 3 Apple devices, if you don't like Apple, like you know, a lot of headphones you could objectively say those are great headphones, buy them, right? But there are some caveats that go along with these that instead of like the caveats making them less valuable, the caveats make them more attractive.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, if there's a quote unquote sport mode coming down or something like that, or sport mode, sport level, or series or whatever at a lower price, because our good friends at Anchor are sending me their Q30s.
Yep.
So, and I have the Q20s. Now the Q30s are obviously a big jump up, right? in terms of price point and offering on there.
Well, I think the Q30s are still like $60. So
Well, they're
I'm
80.
think what's that?
They're 80. The Q30s are 80.
okay.
I'm thinking of something that they make that's around the $200 price point, and I could be completely wrong about which model it is, but I know that they're sending some of their higher end stuff to me. So I'm looking forward to checking that up against the 20s, and possibly diving deeper into this whole thing. But if Apple does come out with a $200 or even $300 ish level,
Right,
over ear like this, there's a good chance I might jump on it. Yeah.
Okay, Jason, this is your job. So as I mentioned earlier on the podcast, I did order a pair of AirPod Max myself from Verizon. They're supposed to be here by Friday. I don't know if that could happen or not. We'll see. But assuming I get mine on time, Jason, your job is to find a cheap cable, just pay like $15-$20. So you plug yours in so we can both have them plugged in next week for the podcast. And then we can give our opinions about the AirPod Max, like our final opinions and things like that.
where am I going to find a cheap
Best Buy.
Lightning to 3.5 millimeter cable?
I'm not talking about an Apple one. You can just go to Best Buy and get an Insignia one or something.
But I don't think they make specifically those terminuses. Is
Oh, really?
Yeah. It doesn't seem to me like a typical connection. Lightning to, because basically, if you're using Lightning to 3.5 millimeter, that would be like from your iPhone to a device that's taking in the sound from your iPhone, and usually, you'll use one of the little adapter kits to do that.
You might be right. Damn. Okay, never mind.
So Andrew Edwards has a suggestion for you: Mandalorian season 2, episode 2. I'm trying to remember which episode that is. First 5 minutes. Make sure you have spatial audio turned on.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Here, the one thing that I wanted to know. So Apple TV doesn't support spatial audio yet.
Yep.
I don't know if it's hardware based or software based or what the whole deal is, but they don't support it. However, it's supported on iOS devices. So my question is, if I start to watch something on my iPad, if I start it on my iPad and then AirPlay it over to my Apple TV, will I still get the spatial audio?
I doubt it.
Yeah, it's because it's theoretically still coming from, because AirPlay doesn't work like Chromecast. AirPlay is still coming from the device, whereas Chromecast just, it hands off to the cloud and streams from the cloud whenever you use a Chromecast. So, yeah, these are the kind of things, like, my initial impression is really impressive. I mean, just on the face of what they are compared to what anything else is in this space.
Mm-hmm.
Really impressive, super high quality, comfortable. The transparency mode, like, I've never used transparency mode all that much, but it impressed the heck out of me, because like I said, my wife came home and I turned on transparency mode to talk to her, and it was like I didn't have anything on my head.
They didn't feel heavy?
No. I mean, they don't feel heavy to me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
you're used to wearing headphones. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that anybody who complains about the weight needs to go to the gym and work out their neck or something. They're not light, but they're not like wearing 2 bricks on your head. So,
well, I look forward to your initial impressions. I guess it is. Is that what the video is tomorrow? Is basically unboxing initial
impressions. Kind of, I walk through setting them up, and like I cut out a bunch, but I'm listening to a few different pieces of music and kind of.
Setup should have been easy, right? You just turn them on and it shows up on the iPhone, right?
Yeah. But I don't think, not a lot of videos show that. So I don't think a lot of people who aren't in the Apple ecosystem, don't have a pair of AirPods, really understand. Like, it's, you press the button or open the case and they pop up on your phone.
It's like when you set up a new, it's like when you set up a new iPhone. Not a lot of people show that. Like, you just you scan that dotty weird looking thing, and like literally everything switches over. That's always wild to me. That's always been that's one of the greatest things about the Apple ecosystem, is just how seamless, right? How easy it is.
And it's gotten easier and easier as time has gone on.
So let's stop right there, because I'm tired of talking about expensive headphones. Let's talk about something.
I got
Okay, of
one
course
more
he
thing
does.
that I want to say.
Okay, one more thing.
Well, because I'm trying to go through the list of complaints that people have. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
so a lot of people complain about the price because it's very high. And like Micah Brown here asks, do you think a regular guy on a budget should spend $600? No,
No.
no. I mean, I could tell you like
Edwards.
probably half a dozen headphones under $100 that will sound really good and not, you won't have to finance them or whatever. You know what I'm
Soundcore
saying?
Q30.
The Q30s, even the Q10s, if you don't want the Q10s sound better if you don't care about noise canceling. The
Here,
Q10s
it
are
sounds like to
crazy.
me these are definitely for the audiophile. People that they have multiple headphones. They're into audio.
But see, that's
Is
the
that a fair
thing.
statement?
The reverse complaint is that from the audiophile end, they're complaining because Apple doesn't publish like what codecs they support and
Mm.
what the frequency ranges are from this to this or whatever. They look at statements like the audible sound, like they say it produces high quality audio over the breadth of the audible sound.
So
uh,
if these are not for the hardcore audiophile, okay, so that's one group, and if these are not for your casual, is it fair to say that Apple's trying to carve out a new group or kind of try to bring together a new group?
I guarantee you that the same thing that happened with the AirPods and the AirPods Pro when it came to audiophiles who were like actually honest with themselves and not just cork sniffers who cared more about buying the gear than listening to the music. And that's probably like 50% of all audiophiles just like to sniff their gear and talk about it. They might never listen to any music at all.
Yeah.
But of the people who love music and who appreciate higher quality gear, there is a space for this because most of those people, a hefty amount of those people are iPhone and Apple customers, and this is a new category of headphone. This is a wireless headphone that reproduces really incredible audio that just happens to be so tightly integrated with the system that it works with that it's a no-brainer. Like, how many people here have wanted to punch themselves in the face trying to get a Bluetooth headphone set to transfer from like their computer to their phone or vice versa? I mean, it is maddening.
Yeah.
Bluetooth
Yeah.
sucks so bad.
Viper rates band.
And that's what these have that pretty much any other headphone any other wireless headphone, you know, imagine going back to the days where all we had to do to hear our audio was like plug the thing into a hole,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then glorious audio. But these things sort of take away some of those pain points. And everybody who doesn't want them to succeed, whether it's because they think they're impinging on their snooty area or they just can't afford it, so yeah.
Renee said B&H makes Apple look like Discount Village.
Jeez.
Have you ever actually been to B&H though, like the B&H in New York City?
I haven't been. I mean, I've shopped on their website, but I've never been to the store.
So B&H is funny because it's owned by like very strict Hasidic Jewish family, right? So everybody who works there is a very strict. They aren't open on Saturdays. They follow all of the rituals and all of the things to a T, and they have this crazy system inside that store of like belt driven sort of.
Yep.
It's crazy. And B&H looks like, when you go inside and you start looking around, it looks like a discount warehouse, but it's just got all kinds of awesome stuff in it. but it's like this. It's sort of dumpy, you know. Whereas the flip side of an Apple store is like it looks like it's more of a museum than a retail space. You know what
It's
I mean?
funny because from what I've seen of it online, it kind of looks like the basement or the ground level of an IKEA.
Yeah, it kind of is, but they've just got like so much stuff packed in there. You can get any phone that you hear people talking about that might only be available to buy in other countries. That they've got all of those. They've got 2 walls of headphones, most of them being like, you know, $150, $200 and up. They've got camera gear out the wazoo. They've got, you know, just about anything that you could think of that you might want to have. See, this is why I miss living in New York, because I can only get the stuff that I want from Amazon at this point.
Do you miss the New York rent?
Man, see, we had pretty good rents. I don't know if I've ever told you this story, but in 1996, I think it was, our landlord who bought this building for back taxes, right? He just got it at auction for you know, a portion of the taxes because the other owner had like lost it. The building, we lived on the second floor. It was a storefront downstairs and an apartment upstairs, like a 2-bedroom apartment. And when we first went in there was like no bathroom floor, and half the kitchen floor was gone. And never forget this. I guess where there had been a shelf in the kitchen, there was just like the end of a loaf of French bread stuck to the wall, like 6 or 7 feet up. It was just stuck to the wall. Anyway, he offered to sell us this building for $250,000.
The whole building.
Yeah.
Wow.
On Grand Street in Brooklyn, in Williamsburg. Seemed like a lot of money at like 24. But he sold it probably 5 or 6 years ago for multi-millions of dollars. And all they did was tear down the building to build condos. Man, I wouldn't have to worry about those New York rents if I had gotten, you know, multi-million-dollar little postage stamp of New York real estate, but I didn't. And so that's my sad story.
Let's transition and talk about something that's sort of. Well, you mentioned Chromecast earlier, so it reminded me that we need to talk about this. Okay, a game came out 5 days ago, technically 6 days ago.
Yeah,
called Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes.
Okay. Now, without getting to a lot of the detail, it's an RPG. Real, you know, it's a whole world thing. There's different quests and that. Very much feels and looks like, in my opinion, reminds me a lot of GTA, for example. But the company behind it, CD Projekt Red, announced this game initially May of 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's been in production and this and that for 8.5 years. Whether they actually started doing physical stuff on it however many years ago, it doesn't matter. You announced it 8.5 years ago. It had multiple delays. It was supposed to come out, I believe, October or September this year. Then they delayed it. Then they delayed it again until December 10th. Now,
I think it was originally supposed to come out at the very beginning of this year.
Yeah.
And then it got delayed, and then it got delayed 3 times.
Yeah, and when you have shareholders and this and that, you obviously people screaming at you online, things are going to happen. Now, the reason we're going to discuss this is because a lot of things have happened in the last 24, 48 hours in regards to it, in terms of the initial reactions and whatnot. But also the reason we're discussing it here is because Viper's playing it on the Xbox, so on console. Right. You're playing it on PC, and I'm playing it on Stadia and Google Stadia. And depending on who you ask and the articles you see and the videos you watch on YouTube, this and that, whatever, the impressions or the experience that people have been having have been everything from complete garbage, dumpster fire, to, oh my God, the greatest.
Right.
So a lot of the big complaints have been, you know, unfinished graphics, AI is not working properly, buggy this and that. We've seen screenshots of different things from different types of platforms. The people at CD Projekt Red actually released a statement yesterday saying, if you want a refund, we will give you a refund, which is kind of unprecedented in this kind of thing. But the red flags were already there on the 8th and the 9th when reviewers were only allowed to review PC copies and could only use footage supplied to them by CD Projekt Red.
Right.
That's a huge red flag. They couldn't use their own.
Even send out console review code for people to review. So that right there is a huge red flag.
Yeah, no consoles, and could only use their footage. And as someone like I'm very casual. You guys know that. Like I'm just now getting back into video games in the last couple weeks here. I just got my Stadia less than a week ago, right? And so it's hard for me to say to have all this history behind it. But I'll tell you this: my experience on Stadia and across Stadia has been really good. Has been really, really good. I haven't experienced any quote unquote lag or whatnot, or delays when using the controllers and whatnot. Games load seems to be fine to me. Some people may complain about a couple minutes, whatever. I've been playing everything from Hitman to Orcs Must Die to different racing games, and of course playing a ton of Cyberpunk. And I've been purposely looking for, like, I've been looking at screenshots and people have been posting on Twitter about their complaints about things. So I've been looking for that aspect of the game, and I have not experienced any of these issues, these graphical issues or whatever, or details that people have experienced on Stadia. However, some people have on PC, and it seems like the problems are more spread on console. But Viper, I want you to talk about your experience on Xbox. Have you experienced anything that makes you go, or just tell us, I guess.
Okay, so let's break this down before I get really into the weeds here. Right now, as of December 15th, 2020, there is... What? Hush! I'm on a podcast! Anyway, sorry about that. I was interrupted by my virtual assistant, whichever one in fact there. I got both of them. But anyway, as of December 15th, 2020, there is no PS5 or Xbox Series S or S version of Cyberpunk out there. That version is not coming out until next year at some point. So the versions that we're playing on Xbox Series X and PS5 right now are they're actually the PS4 and Xbox One versions of Cyberpunk. With that being said, I have had an awesome experience for the most part playing on the Xbox Series X. Because again, I'm playing on the Series X, which is the next generation Xbox console, but I'm playing the Cyberpunk game that was meant for the Xbox One because again, there are no next generation Cyberpunk out there right now. Yeah. But I have had an awesome experience. Now I have noticed slight graphical bugs like popping and things like that, and just things that are weird and glitchy, but I have not had any game-breaking bugs, nothing that's like crashing the game or anything like that. I've had a pleasant experience for the most part. I'm enjoying the hell out of Cyberpunk. I've already put like almost 15 hours into it, and I have no plans on slowing down, but my experience on the Xbox Series X, the next generation console, has been delightful.
Zach, so you've been having a good time on the Stadia.
Yeah, and again, my viewpoint is from somebody who doesn't play a lot of video games. We have the retro systems here. You guys know I have a PlayStation 5 that we're not opening until Christmas. So I'm just getting back into everything like that. But immediately sitting right there, again, no delays. Graphics seem to be fine. I have not experienced any bugs or this and that. Like I've been purposely looking for things and purposely doing things to maybe hopefully trigger some things, and I have not, in my experience on Stadia, not. How's your experience been on PC, Jason?
I haven't put as much time into the game as you guys have because I've been crazy this past week or so. But what I did was I took my desktop PC, plugged it into my OLED TV, and man, it was something else. Plugging a PC into the OLED TV, and then the PC says, "Hey, this monitor has G-Sync," and I'm like,
Can we fix the screen here?
I kept thinking like, why have I not done this before? Because so the PC on the OLED screen is amazing. Is amazing just looking at it. Like just look at the home screen. Amazing.
Okay, right? Jason, before you go any further, we need to know what kind of TV you have and how big is it?
65-inch LG OLED C9. So last year's model.
Nice.
Supports G-Sync.
Love it.
Yeah. It supports. I think it supports Bluetooth or HDMI 2.1.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it does.
Although I don't have anything that uses HDMI 2.1.
Okay. But how's the gameplay been? How's your how far are you into it? If you can give us a rough idea, like, do you know?
I basically got through the intro part and into like the first few minutes of like after the sort of menage like cutscene thing.
Did you go Nomad? I went Nomad.
Yeah, and I couldn't really decide.
I went Nomad. Yeah, right on.
Yeah, I couldn't really decide, and it wasn't. The differences were not as readily visible to me. Like I read the descriptions of all of them, and I was like, okay. I just really couldn't decide. So I went Nomad to start. I think I'll probably play one of each and see what the different stories are all about. But yeah, I haven't had any glitches whatsoever in terms of graphics or anything like that. No real bugs or any. Well, one potential bug that I'm not sure was a bug, but it might have been. So when I was in the car and we were being chased and I was supposed to shoot at the people chasing us, my gun wouldn't fire.
Oh, that first chase scene.
Yeah.
After you go through the border? Yeah.
Yeah, my gun wouldn't fire.
Did you run out of ammo?
No, it never fired at all.
Did you reload?
I tried everything. I
took out all those guys. I was having fun with that.
Yeah, I tried reloading. I tried all kinds of stuff. But
so your experience, so Viper, out of 10, what would you say your experience has been like?
I would say it's 8 out of 10.
Okay, Jason?
Yeah, 8.
I would say 9 for me.
But Jason, okay, so I got a question for you, Jason. Do you know what the technical specifications of your PC are? Like, what type of graphics cards are in your PC?
Yeah, good question.
Of course, it's a home built PC, and you got to know the specs.
All right, so you know then. So give us what you got over there.
Okay, it's an i7 9700K, water cooled, with a radiator. GTX or RTX 2080.
2080, okay.
64 gigabytes of 3200 megahertz RAM, and yeah.
Y'all hearing these specs? Wow.
Yeah. So somebody was telling me like, well, you know, if you plug your computer in, you might be able to like, you know, do medium settings. And I'm like, dude, I used what the GeForce, it sort of tells you what it suggests.
So you just use default, whatever it plugged in there?
NVIDIA has this program that sort of looks at all your games and it will optimize for your setup. So pretty much there's a couple of things on ultra and most everything else is on high. Nothing's on medium.
Okay. So yeah. Sorry, go ahead. No, I was just going to say, just it's funny that as you were mentioning your specs and everything, I mean, you could take Reddit as serious as you want, but someone posted this to Reddit today. It's not this. It's from an article, and of course, people are commenting on it. And basically, the main headline is here: the cost of fixing Cyberpunk 2077 is irrelevant compared to restoring the company's reputation, says CDPR. Rep basically, and CDPR promises to fix the game at any cost.
Well, apparently, on top of the fact that they now have offered to issue refunds, their stock value took $1 billion hit, so they're not doing too hot right now.
Well, it's really interesting about that because our good friend
Cucumber
over there at Review Tech USA, he did a video. I think he came up with a video today saying, you know, because again, CD Projekt Red has come out and said if you want a refund, contact Xbox, contact PSN. To get your refund, but apparently some people have been able to get refunds and some people haven't. I know on Google Stadia you cannot get a refund, so it's been really interesting. Some people on Xbox or PlayStation have or have not, and you literally have a statement from the game developer saying, "Give back the money." So
the last time anything like this happened
Yeah.
was No Man's Sky.
I thought it was Fallout. I thought people were talking about Fallout.
Well, Fallout 76, but that was a different kind of thing. It was already an established franchise that was doing a multiplayer game for the first time, built by like a contractor, basically.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really an official Fallout game in the lineage of like Fallout 4. This wasn't Fallout 5, you know.
Mhm.
So that's one thing, and they have fixed it. Although I haven't like, it happens in my home state, so I really want to play it. Like you can go through my high school in Fallout 76.
Wow.
So, yeah, yeah. But it's really No Man's Sky was the last time something like this happens.
Yeah.
It was this game that everybody had been talking about forever, and it made big promises on open world this and blah blah that, and then like when it first started, you just walked around a planet like laser pistoling plants. You know, it was really pretty lame. But to the point where they had made such claims about No Man's Sky, and it was a first time publisher, so
Mhm.
not like CDPR, but a first time publisher. And they made so many claims and it hyped this thing up so big, and they sold it to Sony for so much money that after it came out, like they all went into hiding.
Jeez.
Seriously, like their
Wow.
offices were closed up and they were gone. But in the interim, I mean, it's been 4 years, I think.
They've made great strides with that game up here.
Yeah,
You won a Game Award the other night, I believe.
yeah. I actually like repurchased it. I'm going to play it with my friend Curtis, who I play games with. I repurchased it, but the rule, like, so Sony almost never gives refunds, but they have given some refunds to some people for Cyberpunk 2077.
Some people they've refused to get refunds.
If you go to the Cyberpunk website right now, cyberpunk.net, this was posted looks like 4 days ago, so December 11th. They've already issued several hot fixes already, but I was also reading how they've got another like a big patch coming January, then February. So I mean, at least they're committed to fixing it. But what it just seems so. It's such a shame because 8.5 years.
Yeah,
they really rushed out. I mean, the
Man.
unpopular thing is that they should have delayed the game further, but people would have been all types of complaining had they delayed it further, but it needed to be delayed more.
Yeah.
The other thing is that CD Projekt Red is actually issuing, or they have said that they're going to issue refunds themselves if you can't get it from Sony or Microsoft. So good luck with that.
what they should have done probably is release it on PC first, which would have made a lot of people mad. But I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen some of the footage of PlayStation, like PlayStation and Xbox,
Oh yeah,
original PlayStation and Xbox One.
God yeah.
Oh my God, it's like 8-bit gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's Facebook
terrible.
gaming. Actually,
You know,
they should have just released it on next generation consoles and PCs and left PlayStation 4 and Xbox One behind. They should have just left those behind completely.
yeah, or at least said like we're still developing those. You know, there's a lot of work to do to make what this does work on those machines. So
So I want to address up in the chat real quick. Somebody was saying that they're considering getting an LG C10 OLED TV. That's not the TV that I brought earlier. Sure, that's the one I've been gaming on. I enjoy it a lot. It can be a little dark in some areas, so that's a little off. But other than that, I enjoy it. I have no regrets about the money I spent because it's a lot of money. But yeah, if you're considering getting a new TV, especially for the next gen console, the LG C10 is a good TV. I know Jason has the C9, so yeah, he loves it too.
I had a B7 before that. So this is my second LG OLED, and
There you go.
once you go OLED, you cannot. You can't. I mean, you cannot go back.
It's amazing.
Like
Let's go over-
you can watch other stuff like casually on other TVs, but you won't be able to sit down and say like I really need to see this on anything but on OLED TV ever again.
let's go ahead and share this really quick. I know it's a podcast and audio and everything like that, but we could talk about this really quick. So this just to make really clear here. So this is a render that we're looking at the Galaxy S21. I kind of dig how they've done the whole wraparound thing. Again, this is based on CADs and everything. But earlier today, Evan Blass, who by the way has me blocked on Twitter, he released the first official press image of the S21, and so you got a volume rocker here on the right hand side. You've got a power switch. It's on the right hand side, similar to the Note series this year, whereas previous Note and S series were on the left hand side. No Bixby button.
They sort of quietly got rid of the Bixby button.
Very interesting. And of course, you got the single. Yeah, and you got the single, camera there, the punch out at the top there. So, if anybody's wondering, I mean, it sounds like the two lower tier, the S21, S21 Plus, are going to be quote unquote plastic or glassic, what do you want to call it? The Ultra will be glass and glass. Okay. Announcement January 14th, street date of the 29th. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm sorry. Once you use a foldable phone, it's hard to care about anything.
Well, and also in addition to this, based on the information that's been coming out, the reports, I mean, depends on who you're reading from. Apparently, there's going to be up to 4, maybe more foldable devices, at least 4 different foldable devices this year coming out from Samsung. So they're going to be making foldables more accessible in terms of price point and everything, which I think is great. So
now the other thing about the S21 that I think that's been rumored is that it will have S Pen support for the first time on an S phone. So that should be interesting.
Yep.
So I just got to bring Andrew's comment up here. He's like, well, he says he went 100% away from OLED because he's got a 77-inch LG GX, is in a different room than his main gaming stuff because he has a Samsung Q900R 8K television. Like,
jeez.
Okay, so you moved up. You didn't go back to like a TCL 4 series or something. I mean, that would be a big move downward. But yeah, those when those 900 series TVs came out, they were $9,000.
I just want to know where the hell does Andrew have room to put all the TVs he got? LG sent him like 3 TVs, and now he's talking about the Samsung. Like, where do you put them all? TVs are big, man, especially the ones you have. Good lord, I had a new house. My 65-inch in the house. Are you kidding me?
There's a reason why he bought a bigger house. He's probably got like a Samsung room for Samsung TVs and an LG room for LG TVs.
Andrew's house is like his own little private.
Listen, I had to have 2 big burly dudes bring my C10 in here, and then I had to move it around by myself, which was a trial and tribulation, man. That's craziness.
How big is that? How big is your LG?
65 inches, but you're trying to move it by one man. It's not a good look.
Yeah, moving my TCL from last year. I can attest to that. 65
not advisable at all.
See, I really wanted to get like a 75-inch TV or an 85-inch TV, but they literally would not fit on the wall in my room.
Yeah, that too.
I mean, we'd have to take everything that's on the wall on both sides off, and then it would basically be lower than our entertainment stand and like up to almost the ceiling, because our entertainment room is like a little like half room kind of off the stairs on the way to the garage. So it's like a very cozy little room. And yeah, I did the measurements and then was like, I can't even get one of those things in here. So I did try a Samsung Q90. And the thing about Samsung TVs is, especially after you get used to using an OLED, and I don't know if Andrew's experience has been like this, but the Samsung TVs, they say that if you have a bright room with a lot of sunlight, you should get a Samsung TV. And if you have a darker room that can handle the low light stuff that the OLEDs do really well, then you should go OLED. The Samsung TV sitting on my entertainment stand about 6 feet away from me at like pretty low brightness felt like it was going to burn my eyes out of my head. It was so bright. And like, yeah, I just was like, oh my God. I felt like maybe I was like cooking, somehow from the rays. So So I ended up taking it back and just getting the OLED that I wanted. I got, it was it was around Christmas time, so it was on sale like I think $19.99 or something like that. When usually the C series are usually like $2,500. So yeah, but I handling an OLED TV is very nerve-wracking.
Yes, it is. My God, especially the LG ones. They are paper thin.
Yeah. And you have to if you're trying to adjust it on your wall mount or something like that, your initial inclination is to grab it by the top and the bottom, but then you have to stop yourself because the top is literally like 1/3 of an inch thick. And so you have to try and adjust it by like where the guts of the TV are down at the bottom end.
Yep.
So yeah. But yeah.
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 It's nuts. But man, it's a good picture. My gosh. Whew.
Yeah, I've been talking to the TCL people. I want to do a shootout between the 8 series is end of life now. It's not going to be sold anymore. But the 6 series is the mini LED.
Right.
And so I'm like, send me one of those and I'll do a shootout between my OLED and the mini LED, because when I looked at them at CES last year, or no, it was this year. When I looked at them at CES and they had OLED and mini LED side by side, I couldn't say that one was better than the other. Like the OLED did contrast better, but the mini LEDs, like the pop of the color, was really, really incredible. So I'd like to see them side by side in my space that I'm used to watching TV in. But doesn't look like it's going to happen until after the holidays, because I guess they're selling TVs and don't have a huge inventory. So yeah,
it's been almost a year, man. Like seriously, a month from now, we were in Vegas.
I know.
It's crazy.
That was literally the last significant thing that I did before we all had to shut down.
So I know that I registered for CES. I know Zach registered for CES. Jason, did you register for CES 2021? Are you going to?
I don't probably.
Debating.
Yeah, I have to look at the website. Like I'm dubious about this sort of like distance convention.
Well, I mean, as far as I know, there was a couple of emails sent today in terms of like speakers, but actually, Justine was listed on there. Did you see that today, Jace? Viper?
No, I didn't see anything about that.
Yeah, she was listed. I'm gonna bring up the email. I think we can show it here. I don't think there's anything personal in there. There was 2 emails sent out today. What's today's date? Today's the 15th, right? Yeah. Yeah, CTA announces CES 20 Innovation Award honorees. Venue revealed.
Venue.
Okay. So here we go. Let's see here. I know I saw her name in there. No, it wasn't this email. It was another one.
But Jason, I don't know if you ever gone to like a virtual tech event, but I mean, basically, it's like going to like a class virtually. You just sit there and look at a presentation and things like that. I remember I went to one for TechFluence a couple of months ago, and I was sitting in on a Turtle Beach presentation that they were talking about their new headset, and I had my webcam on, so I was able to talk to them and ask them questions about the headset and things like that. So I can imagine that CS is going to be similar to something like that, I guess.
Let me show you this here. So let's go ahead and share this.
Ghosted me, man.
So this email.
Who ghosted you?
Turtle Beach.
Probably because you keep bucking their headphones. I talked about on the podcast like months ago. You're like, they're trash.
So this email was sent out.
Traditionally, they have been.
This email was sent out about 11:30 a.m. Eastern today. So CES 2021 digital venue revealed. So I kind of skimmed through it, and then I got down to here. It says live anchors to help navigate the show. CTA announced a live anchor desk will be part of the CES 2021, featuring familiar faces from the tech world. Justine Nazarick, Brian Tong.
You're missing a name here. We are missing a name on that list who happens to be in our chat tonight on the podcast. Andrew Edwards. I don't see your name on this list, sir. I know you got hosting duty for CES. You host every damn thing at CES. Every year you're at a hosting something, Andrew. Where's your name at? What are you doing? I know you're doing something for CES 2021, Andrew. Spill the beans, buddy. Spill the beans.
So some familiar names.
Definitely.
Good stuff, right?
I know
Yeah,
all those people, but except Naomi. I don't know Naomi.
I know her name. I don't. I'm sure I would recognize her if I saw her, but I
I
never.
don't know Twitch I don't know Rich personally, but I've seen him on Twitter. And I think I follow him on Twitter too, so I know who he is. I know of him.
But Brian was just on your show the other day, right? So there you go.
That's what I want to hear, Andrew. I know you got something. I know you're doing something with years. I know.
So I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, like I said, I breezed through the email real quick today, and I need to finish looking at. But there's also an email before that as well. But like how to access and everything like that. But like Viper, you got the email back saying your registration is confirmed, blah blah blah, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So Jason, literally registration is so. I mean, you cannot use the same login as last year. Just go to ces.tech and just go through the steps. Both Viper and I did the thing where we clicked on and said, "Here's a link to our views," because it's 30,000 or more for media. So, like for example, last year I was confirmed as content services. I didn't qualify for media because I missed it by like 5,000 views or something like that.
Right.
So it was kind of cool. I don't know. For me, I'm kind of tickled pink to be confirmed as media. Yeah.
I get at least 30,000 views every
Yeah.
48 hours,
Yeah.
which isn't as good as I used to do, but YouTube ain't like it used to be. So I used to do that. Like I used to do a lot better than that for a short period of time and then fall off. But so Andrew says that the last trip that he went on was the S20 launch in February.
Yeah.
And I was uninvited from Samsung events. So
That was the one I was nervous about going to because everything started kind of like happening.
Yeah.
And all the breakouts and everything, this and that.
Yeah,
and,
I was looking. It was starting to look pretty sketchy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and for that reason, I was glad. I was, glad that I wasn't tempted to go because I wasn't invited.
Mm-hmm.
So it was easier to just be like, well, it's probably better that I stay here anyway.
Okay, so I got a question about this because I've never done a CES in my life. So Zach, I'm pretty sure you've done two now. So how are you handling this? Are you gonna like take off all of those days and then like do things around those days? Are you gonna like take off like a day or two or what?
What I'm hoping is that there's a schedule sent out or somewhere we can go eventually here. And I've been checking the links every day, and I have to go through these emails later on today. But I'm hoping the way this virtual thing is that there'll be certain vendors and this and that you can check out, like different rooms, whatever they do, and then obviously there'll be big press things, whatever. I'm looking forward to seeing what our friends at TCL are going to do because they did something last year in advance. I definitely want to go to that because our main mobile rep has told me that 2021 is going to be a great year. So, considering how they shook things up last January, I'm looking forward to seeing what else they can do. So that's what I'm hoping this will be like. It'll be, obviously you can't touch and feel and everything like that, but depending on which rooms you go into or virtual vendors, you may or may not be able to ask questions and things like that and have close-ups and everything like that. So hopefully you can still make some connections that way.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I'm sure it'll be different, but I'm just glad that I don't have to like kill myself walking.
Well, I mean, we could all do it from the comfort of our laptops and our underwear. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I could, as long as I'm dressed from the pectorals up.
Well, that's assuming you want a camera on. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm going off of assumptions based on what I've been reading here and there. Nothing. I haven't read anything about this yet, but that sounds like what it should be.
Yeah. So we started to talk about the S21 and the fact that it's going to be released in January.
So January 14th announcement apparently, and then 29th is the street date. That's what's rumored. Yep.
And this is the first time Samsung has released one of their flagship phones this early in the year.
Yeah, normally it's March, April-ish, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think as Andrew said, they had the S20 event in February of last year, but it would have been a March release if I remember correctly. Vincent, I haven't left the house. Like my poor Apple Watch, like it says you've exercised 3 of your 30 minutes today.
Well, Jason, you have an Apple Watch, and Apple did just release fitness.
I signed up
for it.
You get a month. Yeah, you get a month for free.
Hey, you workouts. Let's go.
You get a month for free, and if you buy an Apple Watch, you get 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to, because I already do some of the fitness stuff to have some additional coaching on the side or motivation. Hey, why not, right?
So the way that I remembered that Fitness Plus launched yesterday was some really frightening footage of Brian Tong like jazzercising on Twitter.
No, I
He
missed
was
that.
like fitness plussing, like it was his back and the TV, and he was like jumping and kicking his legs, one back and back of the other. I was like, "Whoa, dude!"
I need to look at. I need to find this, or do I
Yeah,
not need to find this?
it was special. I'll say that. I mean, I got to give the guy mad props for just like, owning it. Here's me on the Fitness Plus, and then I turned on Drew's live stream where he was like, "Well, I don't think you get much for $10 a month."
Nope.
It's like, dude, you've
I
never
just found Brian.
been to a gym in your entire life.
Whoa! Hold on, y'all. Y'all know what's coming at. Y'all know what's coming. Oh, shot fired! Shot fired on the podcast.
Here's the Brian thing you were talking about.
Yeah.
Wow.
God. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Look at him go. Is that Irish dancing?
I don't
working
know,
out,
but both I Justine and Crystal Laura were getting it in on their videos. They weren't messing around.
I thoroughly enjoyed the Crystal
have to
Laura
check
video
that
because I thought she went deep
Well,
enough.
like, bro, like, damn, like, okay.
I thought Crystal went really deep enough, like answered a lot of my questions on like how it works. I really enjoyed her video. It was good.
Yeah, here's what I wish. I wish that, and there may be a way to do this that I just haven't figured out, but when you choose one of the workouts and you, whether you download it or not, I wish that you could like then put it on your calendar and say like, I'm going to do, what is HIIT? High impact.
Oh, high interval training. Yeah, high interval training, I believe, something like that.
Yeah. So I don't think I want that.
Is there stuff for treadmills on there with the Fitness Plus?
I think so.
Yeah. You know what's really cool about it though is because like right now everything with fitness, Apple Fitness and whatnot is obviously watch and phone tied in, right? But you can also download it for your iPad or on your Apple TV.
Yes.
Not Apple TV Plus.
No.
Apple TV.
But
That's useful because now I can set this up my iPad up aside to the side with my treadmill and away we go, right? So,
man, I'm gonna be hitting it on the OLED TV. I think I'm gonna try and do the Brian Tong dance.
Really quick. Someone else put. Sorry, go ahead, Jason.
I think if I tried to do what Brian Tong was just doing right now, since I've like not moved for the past 9 months,
yeah, I wouldn't recommend that.
I would hurt myself so badly. I'd be coming to make videos like on a little cart.
I'm going to continue.
In.
I'm a couple weeks behind, but I was doing brisk, 30, 35-minute walks every single day, which was really good for me. Someone else mentioned this. I think it was Bob Grimes really quickly mentioned this in the chat here. This may or may not be a big deal to some people, but March, so in 3 months, Twitter is shutting down Periscope, the Periscope app altogether. So right now, if you go live on Twitter through the Twitter app, it's actually pushing it through Periscope, which is a completely separate app. And if you want to set up your username and different options, whatnot, you can use Periscope for that. They're going to finally dissolve that completely into Twitter, which is actually kind of exciting because Twitter recently picked up another app as well, a video hosting app. So I think we're going to see a range of different live streaming, this and that, vertical video type stuff, obviously to compete with TikTok coming down the line here. So I'm excited to see what they do. I mean, the Periscope doesn't really affect many people unless you've purchased like Superstars or what they call it, which is kind of like tipping people through that. So you have until April to use up all those. So, RIP Periscope. I'm surprised it took this long. They bought it back in 2013.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, ever since they bought it, it was just like a conduit to get video on Twitter.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah.
So I don't even know why they bothered to keep the name.
Yeah.
So, like Andrew Edwards just said in the chat there, if you buy an Apple Watch 6, you get 6 months. If you buy an Apple Watch Series 6, you get 3 months of Fitness Plus for free before they make you start paying. But apparently, if you get an Apple Watch from Best Buy, you get an extension on that free trial. So maybe it's like 4 or 5 months. I don't know. But yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I've been trying to cut out my subscriptions.
Oh, man.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I actually was. So when I worked full time at the university, I got the Adobe Creative Cloud suite thingy for like $10 a year.
Wow.
But now that I don't work for the university, it was $30-something a month.
Yep.
And I realized that I just was getting what I typically was getting before. So I went and I looked, and you can get just like Photoshop and Lightroom.
Mhm.
And I don't use Lightroom because I'm not really that big a photographer, but Photoshop is the only thing from the Adobe suite that I use on any kind of regular basis. I do all my thumbnails in Photoshop. I've tried other ways of doing it, and I just have like an ecosystem of like knowledge of knowing how to do the things that I want to do, that I'd have to, learn that or work around to get that done on other things. So, it's $10 a month though, which is better than like 39.
There's a program on iPad and iOS called Affinity that is a one-time charge, and it's similar to Photoshop.
It's like $50 though.
It's not $50 on iPad.
I bought Affinity for like 15 or 20. It was
Yeah, I
cheap.
thought it was 20.
I looked at it just the other day, and maybe I was on the
Oh, yeah, that was on the Mac probably.
yeah, but at this point, well, maybe it's worth trying, but at this point, it's kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
I've been using Photoshop since the 90s.
There's another one. I think Andrew mentioned this on Twitter the other day. I think it's called Pixelmator. Is that what it's called?
That's the one.
Is that one? Is that also on iPad?
Yes.
Is that a one-time cost?
Not sure.
Yeah. There's GIMP if you want to use the computer, as Bob says here, and I've downloaded and tried GIMP before, but the interface was so similar to Photoshop that I wanted it to like have all the things in the same places that Photoshop had it, and like I just ended up getting confused. So, and it's strange that like its little logo is like, I think a fox or a rat or something. I don't know. Anyway.
Okay. So I think we've talked about everything we want to talk about on this particular podcast. So it's time to go into overtime. Do you gentlemen have anything else you want to talk about before I go on my little mini rant?
Oh, what's the rant about?
It's something I talked about on Twitter earlier this evening. The whole honest review thing.
Oh,
jeez.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I have nothing else to point out except that the McRib is disgusting.
Oh, we're back. Damn it.
Newsflash, the McRib is disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like some processed meat that's poured into a mold to make it look like ribs?
It's so overrated. Like,
watch your mouth, Dak. Rib's not overrated.
Are you sick? Come on, dude. You really like the McRib?
Good, man. It's good. Okay.
Oh, it's good.
It's good.
You got a weird definition of good, my
Oh,
friend.
fine. I'll take my word definition, but it's good anyway.
Okay. Go rant, go.
Jason, you were about to say something?
I just wanted to say that I remember when the McRib first came out, and if I recall correctly, no one liked it. That's why it went away.
Pretty sure.
Jeez.
Whoa,
So the reason that people
keep
eat
coming
it
back,
now-
man. Keep coming back.
See, McDonald's gets smart. Like they have good smart marketing people. They know if they limit the access to something and then market it as something that people love, then everybody's going to eat it and not think about whether or not it tastes good or not.
Oh, it's funny how many things are about marketing in life. Crazy how that works.
Captain of Team McRib.
Hey man, I don't get it a lot. I mean, it only comes like once a year, and I don't even know half the time when it's here and when it's not here. But when I do get it, it's enjoyable.
You know what the best seasonal thing at McDonald's is?
What's that?
Shamrock shakes.
Yeah, it's down there.
Do you guys hold on here. You guys know the what's that movie called? The Hangover. Remember this part?
OMG, the McRib is back. Why was it ever gone?
I don't know if you guys caught that at all.
Yeah. I don't. Why am I going?
What'd you do, Jay?
I didn't do anything. It's in my pockets. I think it's Zach.
What you doing?
I clicked the wrong button. I'm going to turn it off right now.
Yeah.
Boom. There we go. Should be
All right,
fixed
good.
now.
We're back.
That was silly. That was weird. Don't ever do that again. Note to self.
Yeah. Okay, Viper, rant away. I'm sure I'll have something to say about this once you're done.
I hope so. I figured you would. So I was just talking about on Twitter earlier this evening about how there are video titles on YouTube that say honest review or honest first impressions. And I'm thinking about myself, so if your review is called honest review or honest first impressions, does that mean like the rest of your videos are unhonest? I mean, I don't really, I mean, I kind of get it now because people explain it to me on Twitter, but I know maybe this is just me and I'm a little weird, but when I look at that title and when I look at the way that some of you all title your videos that way, it kind of makes me think like maybe the rest of your videos are to be trusted if you got this honest review and honest first impressions. I mean, what about the rest of your content that doesn't have honest in the title? I mean, can I take it seriously? Can I trust it? I mean, if you're not honest,
to me, it's more of a suggestion that everybody else is not being honest, and I don't like that.
I mean, I didn't think about that, but that's a good point too. But the other thing, what they were explaining to me on Twitter tonight, that apparently it's SEO. People actually search for that. I'm like, what? That's kind of weird. Jason, go ahead.
Okay. If you're going to use the word honest in your video title, nobody's going to believe you. That's just the long and short of it is like, if you have to say your review or your first impressions or anything like that is honest, then people aren't going to believe you. That's just you got to go all the way. You know, like Painfully Honest Tech is not the easiest channel name to live with, because I'm constantly getting all that, like, you're not painfully honest. You used to be honest, but you're not anymore. Or, you know, like all that stuff.
No.
And I'll tell you the biggest reason why you shouldn't use that.
Mm-hmm.
It does not help you with the algorithm at all. Because honest is not a keyword. Honest is not part of any keyword phrase. So unless you have a channel name that you have used enough that you become your own keyword phrase, then there's nothing about the word honest that helps your videos get views.
Here's the thing about putting that in a title or whatever. You don't gain my trust exactly that. You don't gain my trust in watching your honest review because you called it a honest review. You gain that trust in why I watch your content through your library and things that you've done in the past, your content from the past, the way you present yourself online and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So I would rather, like, we've all built up a very loyal following with the people that watch our content from the way that we present things. I don't think I've ever put that into a title. No, I know I haven't. I know Piper hasn't.
Well, I've used Painfully Honest. I've said, Painfully Honest review or something like that.
That's your channel, Brandon, so I can understand that.
Yeah,
but
that makes sense.
Yeah, I just want to say that I'm not taking a shot to anybody that uses that in their title. It's just something that I've noticed. I know I was watching a video about the AirPod Max tonight, and it had that in the title. And then I thought to myself, I've seen this in a lot of video titles on YouTube throughout my year watching YouTube, and I'm just thinking to myself, why do people put this in their title? I don't understand.
What they're trying to do is entice people to watch their video because they're going to actually tell it like it is for real, as opposed to all these other bullshit artists out there on YouTube. But the truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter for most of these people if the word honest is in their title or not. It's still the same boring shit that says nothing. No, like 90% of all reviewers don't say shit. 90% of all reviewers like go right down the middle, and then I call it the Austin Evans. Right down the middle, and then swerve left and say something kind of negative, and then back to the middle, and you're done. It's the Austin Evans. That's what most everybody does. I don't know what they're afraid of.
I like Austin Evans.
He's a dork.
Hey, now.
I'm not saying that I think he would agree that he's a dork. But one thing that has made me stop watching him over the past couple of years is the formulaic, programmatic sort of semi ass licking that he does.
Wow. Okay. Don't hold back.
Well, why should I?
Well,
these are my painfully honest thoughts about some of the people who also make videos.
All right, we're not going down this rabbit hole. Well, what I will say is that I think I made a comment a couple of years ago about Marquez and how I felt like his review were too much of an overview, and he didn't give his opinion enough. And I don't know if he got that criticism or it got to him, but boy, Hammer over the past 2 years, he had completely changed the way he does his reviews. He's a lot more opinionated now than when I made that comment 2 years ago. So shout out to Marquez for like being more opinionated in his reviews. I respect that.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned that too as one of my criticisms in the Can You Trust video that I made. And I think in general, I don't know if the Can You Trust was a product of or some kind of like impetus for the conversation of like, what are we doing here? How do we do it? And, sort of actually saying that most people don't really say anything. And if you're trying to do this and the idea is to help people make purchase decisions or whatever, then you should know that you're beholden to those people watching your video, not the company that you might want to cozy up with if you ever get big enough to have them give you the time of day.
I talk about this all the time, man. That's exactly right, Jason. It's all about being loyal to your viewers because they're the ones who brought you to the dance, and you wouldn't be where you are as a creator without your audience. So your first should be your audience.
There's definitely a fine line. I talked about this on one of the streams I did. I did a whole hour and a half rant about this. There's definitely, I've seen a change sometimes in some creators, whatever, and because they don't want to say too many bad things about this brand or whatever because they have a relationship. So at what point are you still a reviewer and now are you a marketer? Like, which one are you?
Yeah.
So
we've talked about this here too.
Yeah.
So I've heard.
Go ahead, Vite.
I was gonna say, so Andrew Everton talked about this before, and I've heard Renee Ritchie talk about this as well. I think a lot of times people equate being honest with being negative, and it doesn't always have to be that way. You can be honest, you can be critical of a brand and still provide them constructive feedback while still being critical of whatever product or service they offer without being negative. They're being negative for the sake of being negative, and then there's offering constructive criticism and feedback that they can actually use to make their product better. If you can offer constructive criticism, and like Andrew Evans always says, if you can be fair to the brand, because that's what they want more than anything, they just want you to be fair. If you can be fair to them, offer them constructive criticism, and still being completely honest with your viewers about what the shortcomings of a product or a service, then that's the way to go.
Yeah. It's I think over time, you can't earn a reputation for being honest, in a short period of time, and you can't earn the reputation of being honest by putting the word honest in your title, right? You have to sort of show that behavior for people to start to expect it from you. But I think Renee has. At first, I wanted to say Spartus Tech has this to say. Using X Android phone for 5 days, will it make me switch? Now, I have been guilty of titles like that in the past, but I have figured out how to do this better. And the person that does it really well, even though I'm annoyed by this person sometimes, is Everyday Dad. He has can you do your video editing on a low-end spec machine? He has several different kinds of videos that he makes that sort of do this sort of thing, but it doesn't put the onus on you. Because how much crap did I get like a year or two ago when I would say, I'm switching to this? And, then like that was really detrimental to my channel. And I just didn't know how to do it any differently. It took me a while to figure out how to say what I needed to say and get up on the soapbox I was trying to get up on without jumping off that soapbox and hanging myself every time. Right? So there are ways to do this and still be able to quote unquote keep your integrity. But it's a slight swerve away from this sort of more binary thing into something that's like situational. Right? So like what I did with the M1 Max. Like I never came out and said, I'm only ever using the M1 Max from now on. And because then I would have had to say, well, actually, I have to go back. Um,
Yeah.
so it's interesting, but I think Renee brings up a good point here. Some creators also get gun shy because of the audience. If they go more negative to appease everyone who thinks they're too positive, or more positive to appease everyone who thinks they're a hater. Yeah, I think. See, but that's like the audience getting in your kitchen, right? The audience, and you've got to learn how to do that correctly. You've got to learn how to keep your kitchen,
Mm,
and not allow these people to get in there.
mhm.
And it's really hard to do because you the whole thing, the like the weird codependent part of this is you're on YouTube to get looked at, right? No ways, no one or two ways other about it. You're here to get people to look and listen, right?
Mhm.
And so you'll try various things back and forth to try and get that to happen. And then you get to a point where you find something that works, and the first time you find something that works, you ride it into the ground, and then you got nothing left because you're just like, oh, this thing's working. I'm just gonna dig a big hole, and then I'll be stuck in it. So, but then you start to learn, and I think Andrew also has a good point too. Here, it's like that he says the relationship with a brand can typically not be altered or damaged by an honest review. I
I think
will
it's all,
say,
it's all about your delivery, right? And if
yeah,
you're screaming and yelling and everything like that, and using whatever types of words and everything, as opposed to being cool headed, like say for example like Mr. Mobile, he's one of the best at it.
he is one of the best at being critical,
Mm-hmm.
while not being over the top about it
Yeah.
for like effect. Now, I have damaged relationships with companies because of how I delivered some of the criticism that I had of their products. And part of that is because part of it was I never wanted to be in a position where I had to feel like I was beholden to the company. So, it's like my own sort of, I guess, um, excuse me, my own sort of like defiance disorder, where it's like I don't want to be liked by them, so I'm going to do these things so that I'm not liked by them, and then it works, and then you're like, oh, that was stupid, you know. Um, but I think Andrew's right that go if you go from a place of respect for both your audience and for the people who made the product, and the best way to respect that is by actually saying things that you like or don't like about the product, in a way that can be taken as like maybe pointed but constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Then I think you're able to sort of toe that line.
It's also important to work with brands that and ask them up front. Like, so for example, I know when I talked to our TCL reps when I was at their booth at CES, I said to them, is there anything like, is there any sort of guidelines or whatever you guys want me to follow? And they just said, no, we just want you to do your thing, be as honest as possible, but be accurate. And I'm like, okay, what do you mean by accurate? Well, for example, if it's one of our mini LEDs versus make sure you're pointing out that yes, it has two USB ports and not one, kind of thing, and just make sure you're accurate with that information. Other than that, we won't ever tell you how to do stuff.
Right.
It's the same thing when I got those devices from Samsung. I asked my rep, I said, is there, other than hashtags or tag or whatever, is there anything you want me to do? And they just said, just be honest, tell your honest how you feel about it and everything like that, and we look forward to seeing what your delivery is like.
Listen, man.
And yeah,
I reviewed the Pixel 4 last year. It was a 27-minute video. I must have spent 15 minutes of that being critical of the phone because of things that it didn't have or didn't have compared to the competition, this, that, and the other. So out of a 27-minute video, half of it was me being critical of the phone and what it was offering or not offering, more or less, for that phone. Here we are a year later, and Google has sent me a Pixel 4a and a Pixel 5. So again, you can be critical, and not be a complete a-hole about it. And the company will respect what you do, and they will still work with you because you are providing that constructive criticism and feedback. So
Just don't call the phone an abortion of a phone.
when you do that, you might.
I was really hoping you wouldn't have said that tonight. I want to quickly touch on Andrew's thing here. I think it depends on the relationship you have. Now, my relationship, for example, I'm going to say Nomad because they're really the only brand I've ever used the word friends. And the reason I refer to my friends at Nomad as friends is because I have a personal friendship relationship with the owners, Brian and Noah, along with many of the gals that work there, along with the other guys and whatever that I've met in the past. And this is all prior.
I'm about to say that's the key point. This was prior to you being created.
Yeah. So I used to sell their stuff when I worked for a distributor here, a cell phone accessory distributor. So I knew all these people. I took Noah. I'm going to tell you guys the story. I'm not going to go into the details, but I took Noah, one of the owners of Nomad, out on the town in Montreal, along with other people that live in Montreal, and we got him, as he call it, Montrealed that night. It was a very good night. Okay, we didn't get up till 12 o'clock the next day. Okay, but I'm just saying.
Tell us how you get Montreal.
we went places and we spent a lot of money, and there's things that are allowed in Montreal that are not allowed in other cities. Okay, so
What do you mean?
but anyway, we had but that was all prior to me even doing one review on my channel and everything like that. So I'm okay with saying, I do agree with what Andrew's saying, but I do have, in my case specifically with that, I think if you know enough, if you do have a cozy friendship, but if you only ever done one or two things with them, I do agree with what Andrew's saying. It's a business transaction.
Okay, so I like Stephen D. comment, and I like Andrew's Edward's answer. Perfect answer. Exactly. That's a perfect answer.
I wanted to touch on Andrew's comment right before that.
Yep.
Before we went down to those, because those are good comments.
Mm-hmm.
So Andrew says, stop referring to brands as your friends. And I tend to agree. I mean, the weird thing is, like, I grew up in this like punk rock culture where everything establishment was evil, right? So any of these companies have the potential to be evil in my brain, right? And I'm always looking for like where the evil is. But I've also seen other companies become very cozy with creators. Like I've talked often about like when LG sends MKBHD a birthday cake with this, with a little picture or figurine of him. And to me, that's like, I get it. It's not like the end of the world, but it does make me say like, well,
No. Let's go dig into that, Jason, because Rinky sent technically T baby clothes when they found out he was having a kid. And I think I explained on Twitter that I was trying to tell people that they didn't send him baby clothes because they're friends with him. I mean, they're cool with him, obviously, but they sent him baby clothes because he's an established seller for them. Okay, it's a transaction before anything else.
He's making the money.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's at the end of the day, the people who work at the companies might be cool, right?
Right.
You might be able to like have a friendly relationship with someone who works at a company, but the company itself, like the holistic entity, sees you as part of their marketing plan.
As a tool.
You're part of the marketing plan. You're part of the advertising budget. You are doing work for them.
Yeah.
And if you do it well and often enough, then they will come to count on you to do that work. And one way they can count on you to keep doing that work is through these little favors that they offer, right?
Yep.
I mean, there's nothing more enticing to somebody who loves to get attention than to have like a nameless, faceless entity send them a very highly decorated special birthday cake, right? With their figurine of them on it and all that other stuff, and the company logo. And it's, think about what birthdays mean. It's all about like family and communion and all that kind of stuff. It's good to recognize that there's a difference between being friendly with the people who work at the companies, right? and having a good relationship with those people, and maybe even be in the position to say that, me and so and such could be friends in some other venue, but this is a business and I'm helping them do theirs, they're helping me do mine, and the value that is offered there for both has to be somewhere in the forefront of your mind, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, so Franklin says LG send Jason stuff. Yeah, he I did get the V60 from LG this year. I got the Velvet from LG this year. They didn't send me the Wing, but LG knows that I have been a champion of their stuff, and so over the years they've now recognized that, so they've been nice enough to send me the phones. But I'm never going to say how much that's never going to impact what I have to say about the product.
Right. Because
if I say something and it's negative and they get mad and they don't want to send me any more phones, then fine.
Over with.
I'll just go buy it. Like I have.
Let me ask you a question: do either one of you send any Christmas cards, just as a kind of like a corporate thank you for your partnership and working together this year to any of your brands? No.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this. Fuck no. I mean,
But before Jason goes, they didn't send me anything either. So, but I'm not expecting anything. So I mean, it is what it is.
See, that's all part. I mean, I know why in the business world traditionally, those kinds of things have been part of how business gets done, and I don't think anybody took it to mean anything too much one way or the other. It was appreciated, right? But I think with the way that creator lifestyles work, you're a single entity and they send you Christmas cards or cookies. Like I think Gameski got cookies from LG this past couple of days ago.
See, I come from the corporate sales world, so for at the end of the year, I would always look at my top 10. So I had on average 55, 56 accounts. I would always look at my top 10 or 15 and go, okay, can I write out a quick Christmas card, generic Christmas card, dear Westco Communications, for example, thanks for the great partnership in business this year. Looking forward to a great 2021. Signed, Zach. Right? I don't think there's any harm in that. I mean, it's nice. Get a little card in the mail. Do you think so? Do you think there's harm in that kind of thing?
Well, see,
because I'll tell you right now, I sent Christmas cards to a few brands that I've worked with this year as a thank you for working together.
Here's the thing.
So
now, what you're doing when you're working with clients as a salesman, you're not just sending them a Christmas card. You're sending them like the preview to or the reminder that you want to do business with them in the next year, right? And so if they remember you as the guy who sent them that nice Christmas card, then and they had a good experience with you from a retail sales standpoint, whatever, then they're more inclined to give you their business.
It's right? It's for me, it's always been a way of just continuing that dialogue, keeping the lines of communication open. Because, I'd have my weekly call, maybe every couple of weeks an email, but it was always nice for me when I would have like one of the biggest Rogers dealers out here in Western Canada is called Imagine Communications. They were one of my biggest accounts, 10 locations. They're a franchise, or they're not a corporate, but they're their own franchise off of Rogers and everything. They were my biggest accounts, even with just 9 locations, compared to some guys with like 20 or 30 locations. They would bring in a brunt of my dollars every month, my commissions, whatnot. So for me to write a quick little card, when I walked in the store, 30 out of the 40 SKUs in the wall are stuff that I sold them.
Right.
It was nice to keep that communication open, right?
I mean, but you have to admit that there's a transactional relationship there. Right. I mean, that's different than and totally fine for that venue, but the relationship between a creator and a company, like it's so fraught with being accepted, right? And see, the thing is, like, Zach, because you have that experience in sales, you're really, really good at talking to brands and getting them to talk to you. Like, I suck at it.
I wish I could say the same. Some of them have decided to ghost me, but whatever.
Well, I mean, that happens all the time, though, right?
Yeah.
And so it is the way that it is. But you're really good at that, and that's going to pay dividends for you, like over and over and over again. Whereas, I'm more antagonistic in how I approach those things because part of it is if I get rejected and I'm antagonistic, then I can at least say, well, I didn't get my hopes up, right? But it's like, I don't know. I would probably be a lot better off and a lot further along in my career if I was good at doing some of this stuff.
But I completely understand where Zach come from on why he did what he did, because like Jason said, you want to keep up the relationship with the people at those brands. Because I mean, it's not a bad thing to have a friend or a brand like Chuck from Nomad. Me and Chuck are cool. Chuck is pretty much cool with everybody. I mean, Chuck is a good dude. Nothing bad to say about Chuck. But at the end of the day, when we talk about Nomad and Viper, that's like a business transaction. I mean, whatever relationship me and Chuck has, it kind of superseded by the Viper Nomad thing, because at the end of the day, if they send me something and I don't make enough money for them, then they have no problem cutting me off, And I mean, that's just the nature of the business. That's the nature of the beast. But right. I think, like Andrew was saying in the chat, creators need to be mindful of the business nature of the creator brand relationship and not try to get too friendly with the brand, because it's just, like he said, not a good look. It's just not a good look.
Yeah, and once you get to a certain place and you're doing reviews, I mean, this is the hard thing. Like, and this kind of goes to what Steven was asking earlier, how do you review a product that you don't fully agree with, even if it means the company will not sponsor you going forward? I never do reviews for money.
There you go.
Same here. Yeah.
I might do an unboxing, like a setup video, something like that, something that is not a review. Like, here's me laying it down for you, my audience, so that you can understand what I see in this product. I feel like if you get in a position where you're being paid to review things, or the line between reviewing things and doing something other than reviewing things gets blurred enough because the content is not clearly defined, and we all know people who make review videos that kind of seem like commercials. Right? So if that's not well defined, then people start to wonder, like, can I really trust what this person is saying, over the totality of what they're doing? So I just laid it down that, like, I'll do sponsored ad reads for things that aren't related to the product, that, like an accessory for a phone, fine. VPN, fine. Anything that's not related to directly the product that I'm talking about in the video.
Yep.
I'll do those sponsored ad reads. It means I don't get as much money because I can make 3 times as much, maybe more, doing a sponsored video. But I also know that if I did that, my audience would be like, what the hell?
They would rake him.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, there may be a time when I decide to do that just because, you got to feed the family.
Yeah.
But I will make it more than abundantly clear that this is not me, like, sort of, I'm introducing you to this product. Okay. But I'm not in any way endorsing this product, or not endorsing it for that matter. But yeah, it's a slippery slope, and it's easy, especially when you start to build personal relationships with these people. It's easy to end up on the other side of the fence. Suddenly you're on the other side of the fence and you're one of them because they've accepted you into their club, and that will affect how you look at their products. So it's no longer this phone by Samsung. It's this phone by Samsung that was sent to me by Jimmy or whoever, who's a cool guy. And we had drinks in New York when I went to that event. See, those things start to pick away at your ability to be just at your ability to be kind of impartial, I guess.
Objective. Yeah.
So that's the hard thing. And it's because we're single entities for the most part. Each creator is their own company, quote unquote. that's an entirely different dynamic than you're a journalist that works for The Verge, and The Verge has the relationship with the company, and the company sends The Verge a phone, and The Verge gives you the phone to review. Like, you're once removed from that transaction. So you're not your editors, or the publisher might feel some pull toward a relationship with those people, but you might not even know them. Right. So traditional journalism has those sort of checks and balances in place, whereas reviewing stuff on YouTube is kind of like, it started out as the Wild West. It's not. It's like now probably like, you could say that this is probably like turn of the century. The Wild West is not so wild anymore. Starting to get some civilization. But I think that if you don't know this stuff, if you aren't, and even if you can't say like, well, I know that, you have to be just cognizant of the thought process. You have to be aware of the position that you're putting yourself in when you talk to brands, when you talk to sponsors, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
You have to be able to say, like, I could walk away from this.
I've literally had relationships in the past with different carriers, different franchises that they invited me to their Christmas party. They took me out for drinks, this and that. And then when it came down to sit down and go, okay, how many of this SKU, whatever brand you're going to take and put on your walls in your stores, they were looking for discounts and paying next to nothing. And I was only making 5% commissions. And I was like, no. And they literally said to me, well, we took you out for drinks and we this and that. I'm going, so? I mean, I appreciate it. I'm glad I got to get to know you guys and everything. And I've actually had to walk away from business dealings. So I'm glad that I have that experience going into this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So when I send out, like, for example, like I said, when I send out a Christmas card, it's legitimately to say thanks for, working together, keeping the dialogues open. But I know where the transaction is.
Sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
If somebody were to say to me, well, we hosted a party that you were at, or we went out and we we bowled or something, I'd be like, well, if that was supposed to be a transaction, my goodwill for, doing these things with you, next time, just give me the money.
I think it's a little different in today's age too, because of social media. Like I told you guys before, the way I try to get into working with brands and things like that, is that I figure out who runs their social media accounts on Twitter, or who's their PR people, and I follow those people on Twitter. But I interact with them in like a natural, normal way. I don't really ask for items, or I don't ask to work with the brand or things like that. I just follow them just to talk to them like regularly. Right. And so that's kind of how I keep up that relationship. I like just interact normally on Twitter with them, and then just go along like that. It's not like sending a crypto card or anything like that, but I try to keep up a regular, normal, like a schedule of interaction with these people, so at least we know that each other exists. And then if something comes up, something comes up, and if it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah. I think having relationships in any business is important.
Yeah.
But in a business like this, everybody just has to have that awareness of, you're following them with a potential goal in mind. Mm-hmm. And they're out there doing their business in social media to get the word out about their products. Mm-hmm. So they've been successful in doing that by getting you or somebody else to follow them on that social media. Mm-hmm. And there has to be that awareness that there's like a transactional nature here. But that doesn't mean on the day-to-day you can't interact with them without that transactional nature being the context.
Yeah, Jason. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's really hard. Like, Michael says here, Jason will buy products and say, if I don't like them, I'll return it. Yeah. Some people think it's bad form to return things.
No, when I brought that up last week, because I know what he was referring to, I'm talking about the people that don't normally review certain niches of products.
Right.
That'll jump on the train for the clicks.
Right.
That'll get that thing, and they never intended on keeping it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of outliner there for their. It's always obvious to tell who those videos are. It really is.
Yeah, I think once you watch, like, let's just say for example, headphones. if you're a headphone enthusiast of any level, and then you watch headphone reviews, you'll know who really knows a little bit about what they're talking about and who doesn't. It becomes like painfully obvious
Mm-hmm.
within just a few minutes. And so, I mean, I'll even put this toward people who, might specifically focus on one product or one kind of product, and that company or whatever then puts out something that's outside their wheelhouse, but they'll cover it as if it was something that they knew well. Those videos, I mean, there's a system in place where those videos of those people who don't typically talk about these kinds of things won't do well. Unless they make a good video. But a good video is not just, camera quality and audio quality and, pretty pictures. It's got to have something in there that people can take away. And I can't count the number of times that I've watched a YouTube video and just been like, that I guess that was a way to spend 10 minutes. But it didn't really get anything out of it.
Yeah.
But
So,
these days I kind of know when the video is going to be just like a long sort of slow, like sluice of bullshit. And I just turn them off.
no doubt. I think is it you or somebody else on Twitter who was asking no, it was Trenton who was asking what is something that will make you turn off a video immediately? And I think I said something to the effect of, if it's a long, crappy, drawn out intro, I'm turning the video off. If your intro's longer than 10 seconds, I'm probably clicking off the video. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I answered that and I just said audio.
Yep, audio definitely.
And people might think like, oh well, you're just being flippant. No. I can't tell you how many times I have clicked immediately off a video. If it's like somebody in a non-furnished room that has like all this echo and they're using the camera mic.
This is what I can't stand.
Away from them.
This is what I can't stand. Hey everybody, welcome back to my video.
Yeah, but
right
see,
there.
even that sounds better because your room is treated.
Yeah, but I mean, I just can't stand, like, get the mic close to you, get a lavalier, get something that's a boom art just out of, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like these people will have great visuals and B-roll and this, and then when it cuts to them, oh my God.
Great.
Yeah.
So gentlemen, as we wrap up this evening podcast, I have to add something near and dear to all of us is making its way back to our attention span. So I have to ask, have either of you gentlemen watched the trailer for Cobra Kai season 3?
Oh yeah, I'm on that, and I tweeted that out. I can't wait.
I haven't seen it yet.
Chosen's back.
I think I can only enjoy Cobra Kai in the moment. When I see a trailer for it or something like that, I'm like, that's cheesy.
Is it January 8th? That's the new season, right?
Yeah. So.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's January 8th. Yeah, it's very soon.
Not too far away.
Yeah, I can't wait, man.
I can't wait to like every Cobra Kai season. There's like at least one epic fight scene that just blows my mind. I cannot wait.
Well, this next season has been ready for over a year, close to a year now, over a year. So it was supposed to come out like last January, February, but I can't remember why they delayed it. But anyway, there's one key character you will not see in this third season, and that's the Aisha character. Got bullied and everything like that. She got let go from the show.
Yeah.
But we're going to see Chosen back. If you guys don't know who Chosen is, he is the main antagonist, I guess, from Karate Kid Part 2, which in my opinion is probably better than Karate Kid 1. I like Karate Kid Part 2. I really like Karate Kid Part 2.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
No?
I mean, it's not a terrible movie, but Karate Kid is iconic because it just, sometimes you hit on that perfect mix of like teenage angst and Schadenfreude and like all this other stuff that it's just the right mixture.
Yogi. Now you are dead to me.
I wanted to talk about Retethered Tech brings up Dave 2D in here.
I love Dave 2D. Dave 2D is relaxing.
Dave is sneakily,
Watch it.
unexpectedly,
Watch it.
one of the more one of the more like go for the throat YouTubers out there.
True. Yeah.
I mean, he's so calm and his manner is so mild that you don't expect it. Like,
Yeah,
but
you don't expect the savageness. Like with Justine the other day when she was saying something about drinking the Twitter tears.
Yeah.
I think Viper brought that up. Yeah, that was great.
I was like, whoa!
It was
Yeah.
so great. I was like,
see, and Dave is able to be like he's so relaxed in his delivery and how he sets up his videos and all this
Yeah.
other stuff. There's no artifice to it.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing in between the viewer and him and what he's talking about. He's just like, there's very little B-roll. Mostly it's just him standing in front of that table with the thing that he's talking about.
usually sitting, but
Old
yeah.
school YouTube.
Yeah. He's really good. He's
He's
really
rel-
good.
He's really relaxed. He's just got a quasar light there. Oh, by the way, I see all you YouTubers putting quasar lights, thinking you have lightsabers. No, I got lightsabers. Okay, stop it.
When we get the TV portion of the podcast, I'll go first. I just finished watching an amazing show I need to talk about.
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead.
Oh, are we there? Cause I got another.
Are we closing? Yeah, we're over 2 hours here. We got to close things up here.
Okay. So, as far as TV goes, so since Wonder Woman is coming out on HBO Max at the end of the month, I just found it for HBO Max because I want to watch that. But shout out to Andrew Edwards for this because I saw him tweeting about this show on Twitter, so I decided to watch it. It's called The Undoing, and it's on HBO Max. And oh my God, it is so amazing. I was just like kind of like blown away. Like, wow.
I've been thinking about watching that.
Mm-hmm.
But like some of those, I love true crime. I love mystery. I love that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like, if you read mystery books, there are two kinds. There are the ones that like are visceral and like you feel something. And then there are ones that are just like candy, you know, and like you experience them kind of like just in a very surface way.
Mm-hmm.
And so in reading the copy in the description of that show, I was like, oh my God, Nicole Kidman and Hugh Grant. And then the description kind of feels like one of those cheesy book jackets, you know, for a mystery. So I've been hesitant. So I'm glad to hear that you know, I keep hearing that people like it. So you know,
it's very good. The description kind of like, I don't know. I read the description, but the show didn't play out like the description read, but I enjoyed it. It kind of reminded me a lot. Actually, it reminded me a lot of Defending Jacob on Apple TV Plus, but The Undoing is very, very good.
cool. Zach?
Okay, so my wife and I, we finished up watching Schitt's Creek last week. And if you're not watching Schitt's Creek, you need to get on that. I promise you'll like it. Just get past the first season. And it's not as bad as like The Office is in the first season. The first season is good. But if you like that kind of dry humor, it's good. Schitt's Creek, okay? But now I'm watching and forcing her to watch Big Mouth with me. You guys ever watch Big Mouth on Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
It's more offensive than Family Guy, so it's really good. But I've also been we're also finishing up Unsolved Mysteries, and that's basically it. Really, there's not really much. Oh, and also on Apple TV Plus, we just discovered, the kids love this, Tiny World. Have you guys seen this on Apple TV Plus? They use like micro cameras and this and that to like think of like a Bug's Life, but like real life, right? And they have different things like woodlands, oceans. It's really, really cool. Apple TV Plus is called Tiny World. It's really good. There's only like 5 or 6 episodes there, but if you have an HDR television, OLED, whatever, Viper, trust me, you'll love it. You got to check out. Just pick any one of those. I think there's 6 or 7 episodes. Tiny World. Check that out. You'll love it.
Cool.
All right, really cool stuff. Oh, and it's narrated by Ant-Man. Oh my God, I can't remember the actor's name. Paul Rudd. Yeah, it's narrated by him. So that's a plus.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was gonna. You said A Bug's Life. I was wondering if it was gonna be Jerry Seinfeld.
No, no. It's like they use these super small cameras. Like it's really cool. You got to check it out.
Yeah. Well, you know, Michael here, mentions the Queen's Gambit, which my wife and I finished watching, I think the week before last, and it is really good. It is really good. I had some issues with the way that they portrayed substance abuse. They it kind of delved into like the trope of, this person is such a genius they can't handle the world, so they go into substance abuse, and then substance abuse takes over their life. And it's just kind of a tired narrative about substance abuse. So that part of it kind of took it down for me a little bit, but otherwise I really enjoyed it. And that Anya Taylor, whatever face, like the actress, is incredible in the sense that like she can look like so many different things in like the same scene.
Yeah, I remember we talked about this last week. Yep.
And then the way that show is photographed, everything is like a magazine spread, so it's really beautifully put together. And I look forward to watching more of her stuff, although I did watch the New Mutants, in which she plays Magic, Peter Rasputin's not daughter, sister. She gets into this other realm and she has a pet dragon. She was maybe the best thing about the New Mutants, but that is not saying a lot, because the New Mutants was terrible, and it looked like it could be so good.
Still not available on Disney Plus, is it?
I think it's just been available for rent for like several weeks or a couple of weeks.
I'm looking at Disney Plus right now. I don't see it on here. Also, what else is not on here is X-Men Phoenix, which I knew was the last Dark Phoenix, whatever, which was the last one of that terrible.
You know why they're not on Disney Plus?
You're right, Michael Brown. Like I said, the Undoing is very, very awesome. Jason, it sounds like you were going to talk about another show before you went into Gamble.
I am. But Fox made all those X-Men movies and the New Mutants.
Yeah.
So while Marvel and Disney has the rights to the characters now, they don't have distribution rights for the previous films.
But I thought Disney owned Fox now?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, it should be on there.
I don't think. Well, I think it's that they don't consider them part of the MCU. So
it's interesting because if you go through here, they have a category called Marvel Legacy movies, and they have X-Men, X-Men 2, X-Men 3, Fantastic Four, the ones with Jessica Alba and all that kind of stuff. They even have the Fantastic Four, like that reboot, that darker version of it, which
they buried.
They also have X-Men Apocalypse on here, Days of Future Past, the Wolverine, X-Men Origins Wolverine. Right? They have all these, but they don't have these two new ones. But like I did notice on Google Play Movies, like where we sometimes rent movies or download, New Mutants is on there. So maybe it's just a matter of time until it gets on there. Who knows?
That's probably what it is.
We'll get it. We're going to talk about.
Okay, so last night I discovered a new show called Your Honor.
Your Honor,
starring Bryan Cranston as a judge in New Orleans, and his son. Like the whole show starts out like this. So there's no. I'm not giving anything away. This is like the premise of the show. Starts out, son is driving to school. He's asthmatic. His inhaler falls on the floor, so he's leaning over trying to get his inhaler while he's driving. He's just been to the site where his mother had been killed a year before, and some guys were chasing him in a big black SUV, and he leans, and then this other kid who you're introduced to early in the show has just gotten a brand new cafe style motorcycle, so like 450 cc, and all you see is like him leaning and then pulling back up, and then this kid just flip-flopping over the top of the car, and the motorcycle like underneath the car. And the kid, he's having an asthma attack. He's just killed this kid because he watches him die there on the sidewalk. And he leaves. He calls 911 on the kid's phone, and he's trying to talk to the 911 people, but he's having this asthma attack and can't really speak. And it goes on for a while. He gets his inhaler. Once he gets back to his car, he has to crawl. And at some point, like, he gets really freaked out and leaves the scene. So that's the setup for the whole show, is that Bryan Cranston's son has this accident, and then all of the things that sort of fall out from that. So when you were talking about defending Jacob, that made me think about this show.
Sounds dark.
It is pretty dark. I mean, Bryan Cranston does dark.
Very, very well.
Have you seen Breaking Bad?
So Jason, another show that I started watching on HBO Max, I've only watched the pilot. It's a show on there called The Night Of.
I watched that whole series a while back on HBO. Yeah.
What's the one with Kaley Cuoco?
I haven't seen it though.
I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes of
I heard it was good. So
it's okay. I mean, it's a little bit like Sex in the City with a flight attendant.
So Jason,
but also like a murder mystery sort of.
Yeah. Night Of, any good?
Yeah, really good.
Cool.
Dark.
All right, gentlemen.
Yep. It's that time.
I can't believe how
Zach, you've been trying to leave for the last 2 hours, just so y'all know.
What's that?
I think Zach has the date tonight. He's been trying to leave for the longest.
No. I mean, Jason keeps on coming down on us. We got to keep the show down to an hour or 90 minutes, and then
We
here we
never
are.
keep the show to 90 minutes ever.
No, I've decided that I'm just going to cut 60 or so minutes out of it.
I think some of the stuff from this podcast you should probably cut out. Definitely.
Yeah, like I cut out the whole section about when I met my wife from.
Oh, you took that out, dude. That was one of the best parts last week.
That's a story I got to save for like some kind of featured segment. So, I might send that to what's the podcast where people tell stories? The Moth.
We do that here, so I don't know.
So for those of y'all watching and listening, like I said, I should have my AirPod Max in a few days. So hopefully when we come back next week on the podcast, I can give you guys some in-depth impressions and things like that of my experience. And Jason is holding his in his hand.
Do they smell like $550?
Yeah, a lot of people talk about new car smell. Do you get that?
It is new car smell.
Ooh.
Or like new lawn furniture.
Can you imagine me, the guy along the conveyor belt doing that? Okay, now spray them with this.
Well, I mean, that new car smell is really some sort of like protectant, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, does it smell as good as like a Horween leather?
I mean, it does. It's not a leather type smell. I wouldn't do this after I'd had them for a while.
Sorry, vegans, but this is damn good. I mean,
but one of the nicer features of these things, and I hope it doesn't become like an Apple Watch thing, where everybody gets different ear cups. But look at this.
That is pretty cool. I think I'll put some black ones on my silver one.
Yeah. I just hope that.
Have they said they're selling other ones?
Yeah, they are.
They are. Of course they will.
Yeah.
Already yet, but yeah, they are.
Yeah, I just hope that it doesn't turn into an Apple Watch fashion-y thing.
All right.
Anyway, roll it.
Whoa! Oh my goodness!
Here we go.
It's fun.
Oh yeah. Another good night. Another good night here on the Trick Podcast. We have gone in depth and far afield at the same time. So I'd like to first thank my gracious co-hosts, Mr. Viper, Mr. Zach. You guys can follow them both on the YouTube, on the Twitter, all that kind of stuff. That information will be down in the description below, as well as some of our sponsors that you can check out. And anything that you do that's interesting to you, it helps us, or it helps me.
Cucumber.
But anyway, thanks so much for being here, folks. I really do appreciate it. We will be back next Tuesday. I might be back with a Friday morning live stream as well.
Yeah, you've been slacking.
I have been slacking, but things have been nuts. It's just like, I don't know. But I will be back. But until then,
Giggity.
Yep. You guys know what it is. It's the Painfully Honest Tech Podcast. The podcast so honest it hurts. My name's Jason. Until the next time.